So, It Takes Two, right, Zeth? They don't even have microtractions in it. That's almost a word.
Microtractions?
Yeah.
You mean microtransactions?
EA doesn't like the term microtransactions. They're just in-game purchases. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, the whole gambling aspect, it's all fake.
yeah. I don't remember having to get a loot box in order to figure out which character I was gonna play as.
Early Star Wars Battlefront 2 would like to argue. Hello, welcome back to the J&Z podcast. My name is Zeth Makala, and I'm joined by my wonderful friend, Jace. And yes, it does take two to do this podcast, so...
It Takes Two. We love this game almost as much as Zeth likes to eat his own microphone. It's a bad
And that's
habit.
a lot. It the raw, uncut version of the J&Z podcast.
It's like Naked and Afraid, and it sounds like it too. All right, Zeth, go gargle the microphone.
It sounds like that grunge metal, like. All right,
Alrighty.
It Takes Two. Really great game. For those that don't know the full story of it, it is about a divorce.
And a fairly realistic one. Throughout the game, it's very clear that the child is the cause of all the problems.
Jeez. No, Jace, you're an idiot.
That was the whole game. And at the end of it, the child realized that, yeah, it's her fault, but it's okay.
For those that don't know the real story, what happens is these two parents are getting a divorce, and the storyline of the game is this little kid has a book and she cries on it or something, and the two parents turn into sentient dolls.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so throughout the whole game, you're not only trying to find your bodies, how to get back into them, but you're also trying to repair the marriage.
Whether you want to or not. What was the doctor's name? The guy that wrote the book? He's the best
Like
part.
Dr. Strangelove or something like that?
Something like that. He is the best character in this game, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. This game is Game of the Year material, and you want to know how I know that? It won Game of the Year.
I was actually pretty mad when it won Game of the Year. I hadn't played
what?
it. Well, I didn't play it when it won. Like, we didn't play it. We played it after it won.
What should have won?
Well, I was thinking Metroid would have, because a lot of people were predicting that was going to be the winner. And so I just, like, the other ones were okay. And It Takes Two wasn't getting a lot of traction until it won Game of the Year.
I saw a decent amount of reviews for it. I thought it was doing okay for itself.
Like, it did good reviews and stuff, but I just wasn't seeing, like, a whole lot of, like, buzz around the game. And I don't know if that's just because of the people I follow or what.
Once it got on Game Pass, it was a total game changer. Me and Zeth both have Xboxes, and we both have Game Pass, and so we've seen just how effective it can be to go on there. We were thinking about getting this game long before it went on, and I don't necessarily wish we had, but I still think it would have been worth it for the price of it. It's such a great game.
Yeah, what is it, like $20?
It's like $30, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, like,
And then you
if
get a friend's
anybody...
copy for free.
That's right. If one person purchases it, it's like a lot of those old DS games where if someone has a copy of it, you can, like, download
Yeah.
the copy of it.
Yeah. And it's really just a great game for any two people to play together. There's a lot to offer. It's a pretty decent story. It's not insane, but it's pretty unusual, and it does a good job, It's a pretty natural progression, I feel, towards getting back together. You start to notice some things, and they kind of open up a bit as it goes, and the worlds, I feel, transfer, and the puzzles. They have to work together.
Yeah, this has a storyline where squirrels fight bees, and they give you, like, machine guns and stuff.
Yeah. One person's flying the plane and the other person's playing Street Fighter with a military squirrel on top.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
That was the best level in the entire game, hands
That was
down.
so much fun. So for those that haven't played it, it's a split screen game, and regardless of if you're playing it online with a friend or on a couch with a friend, it's still split screen. And that was a really cool moment where I was flying the plane trying to get out of this tree, and then Jace's character climbed on top of the plane, and yeah, it turned into like a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat like game for him.
It was so awesome, and it's so unique that depending on who you play as, you get a totally different experience. Everyone,
Hmm.
you have totally different abilities, sometimes even the opposite of each other, but you have to work together in order to beat the levels. And it's just a really cool concept. I want more of stuff like that.
That's true. I never really considered that. If we played through it again, but I was the girl and you were the guy, it would be totally different.
And I'd actually be kind of down to play it like that, you know? It's just a
Yeah,
totally
actually, you know
different
what? We
game.
should do that.
But it just has so much to offer, and it's such a the gameplay and everything was tight. It was very well done, and I really in the level design, it could be a little long, especially during certain, moments, but there was always stuff happening. There was always stuff to do. You'd find little challenges where you fight each other, and they were always just little distractions, and it was a beautiful world.
There's a full game of chess in here.
Yeah, you can play chess. You can play speed chess, normal chess. They had everything, and that's just one tiny little mini game. You could there's just so many different ones. We never actually found all the mini games, and
We didn't?
no, we found like half of them. They're all hidden around the map, and
Oh, man. Okay, then those are pretty hidden then. I thought we did a decent job of exploring.
yeah, but yeah, I know it tells you on the main menu, but and I think that it also accommodates. I could be wrong on this one. I feel like it does a good job of accommodating experienced players and newer players, because my younger sister who barely plays games, was able to play it with my father, but me and Zeth found it surprisingly challenging at certain points. There were some levels that we had to take a few tries,
Yeah, they're not coming to mind, but there
like the
was a
boss
few
fights.
points.
Like with the
Yeah,
big toolbox, with all the nails coming down, it got really very. I feel like I don't know if there is a difficulty slider, but there was a few times where we were having genuine issues trying to stay alive.
same thing with the puzzles. Some of the puzzles were like, they
Very,
weren't super head scratchers, but some of them were like, okay, what do we do here?
yeah. There was a couple levels that I didn't like the space ones as much as the other ones.
I actually really like that one because you got Moon Baboon.
Moon Baboon.
Moon Baboon.
There is a lot of fun side characters in this game, and a few of them which are utterly horrifying. I'd like to clarify, no matter what this game looks like, this nest isn't necessarily for children. There is a couple swears in it, and a rather horrifying scene involving a elephant.
Oh, yeah. The elephant scene cracked me up. For
I'm not
those
gonna
that don't.
spoil it. I can't spoil it, but if you want to look it up, you can. If you want to play through it,
All right. How about this? How about this? Spoilers for those that have not played it. Just don't listen to like the next minute or something like that. I don't know.
yeah,
But for those that have played it, they know this scene where the parents, they're trying to get back into their bodies, and so the dad suggests that they make their daughter cry, who's still in a normal state. She's
yeah,
still a giant girl, like, and they're still the little dolls.
because she cried on the book, and so that brought him there. So he's like, if she cries again, maybe it'll bring him back. That's kind of the
Yeah,
logic.
yeah. So they were like, "Yeah, how do we make the little girl cry on us?" And they were like, "Let's kill her favorite toy."
And so they're super nonchalant about it, but yeah, you basically have this adorable sounding, adorable looking little toy elephant, and you have to drag it as it's struggling. You feel like you're doing it. They have you smash buttons, do button combinations. You're fighting this thing tooth and nail. It's ripping off limbs because it's hanging on so tight to nails. It's pleading with you not to kill it. And then you rip it all up and throw it off a table, and it dies.
Now, this doesn't sound like it's horrifying, but like in the game, it's like got really sad music and stuff. It's like press Y to rip off the arm, and like the arm will go rip, and then like the leg will come off
And the
next,
thing will be
and
screaming and
yeah, she's like, please, please, please,
oh,
and
that
they're like,
was
we don't want to do this, but we have to.
it. So yes, not for kids. It looks like it should be, but we weren't even expecting just how horrible that was.
Yeah,
Oh my
it wasn't.
goodness.
It wasn't like it was bloody or anything, but
No,
like
it's just about like
for
that.
little kids, they might be like,
It, it could honestly be traumatizing. I'm not even kidding. That was
traumatizing.
it's brutal. It
I can
really
picture like a whole generation of like kids in therapy. Like, so tell me the moment that it started. Well, it all started when I had to just slaughter that baby elephant. Therapist from Scott the Waz. So tell me.
But yeah, we just thought that the levels were they had fun puzzles, There were some really technical spots, in the first couple levels with the hammer and nail. It's one of the first one you get some abilities. You get one person has to like manage 3 different nails and you're throwing them and have to call them back all separately while the other person's it's like manipulating things. I know it's not the best way of explaining it, but there's some really
Yeah,
technical spots.
like each level, this guy gives you certain tasks, but in order to accomplish them, you have to work together based on the ability he gives you. And while I believe there's only one level where it's not like that, I think it was the plant level where we didn't necessarily have to work together.
Yeah, we did. For sure. It
I
was
can't
like one at
remember.
a time, but
But like the other ones were like what he said, where it's like a hammer and a nail, and one person will have to throw the nail, and the other person will have to hammer it in, or something like that.
yeah.
Another one was magnets. I remember where one person's the minus side and one person's the positive side, and so that kind of plays into the whole divorce thing too and relationship.
Yeah. And there was a bunch of levels. It was really fun trying to figure out what the next ability would be cuz like some person like in the squirrel one or whatever, you have like this nitroglycerin stuff that you're spraying on stuff and the other
That's
person
right.
ignites it. Like it's you can't do anything without each other.
One of my favorite levels was actually the top-down perspective MMO.
Yeah, it was like a cool MMO style. You had your, refreshing abilities at the bottom and different buttons.
Gauntlet. It was like Gauntlet, kind of.
Yeah. It was just all of a sudden, and that's what we were doing. And it totally changed it up, and it was a very welcome change. It was a fun level.
Yeah, they really do a cool job of like going through like all the genres of video games. Like, you have a water level, you have the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat level, you have the MMO part, you have the, I don't know, quick time events and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it does. You have the platforming like Super Mario Brothers level. It just does a really good job of like going through like
We got a
kind of
Guitar
a
Hero reference.
yeah, like a it goes through the genres of video games and like different years of video game, like the decades of games and stuff and how they evolved.
Yeah, kind of. Kind of. But yeah, as far as the game goes, it was honestly just a blast to play through, and it was always offering something new. Like let's just like as far as games playing with other people, you got your Mario, but you play through Mario and it's like the same thing over and over. It can get a little boring by World 8. This thing always kept things fresh. It was the same game, but it always had new mechanics and it was very different playstyle.
Yeah, and what's so impressive about this is that it's an indie game and it feels like, a AAA game.
Yeah, I mean, it was produced by EA, but not produced, but it was published by them, but it was under more of a discreet studio.
Yeah, I don't know the name, but I know it's that one guy that like
He went off at the
he went off at the Game Awards on the Oscars. No, like I just have a greater appreciation of indie games lately because a lot of AAA games haven't been up to the standard that they used to be.
they stopped
Like,
innovating.
well, it's not that. It's just that a lot of them recently have become broken at launch. Like you have the whole Battlefield 2077 situation that's happening right now that everybody's mad at.
Nobody liked that game.
Well, like it would have been good for people, but it launched beyond broken. You have Avengers, which just was a working game, but it wasn't a good
Yeah.
game.
I hope they learn their lesson soon. But this was an example of a game that came out great and is consistently great. They haven't even changed anything on it, and it's still an amazing game. I have very few complaints.
Yeah. My only thing is I'm just looking forward to what this the guy who made it does next.
Yeah, me too.
Because I know the two games that he's made and published by EA are like this, where it's like a multiplayer, you need two people at the same time game. All right, you guys. Well, you made it through this far. Goodbye.
That is not an outro. I will show you an outro. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.
See ya.